apparently from the sounds of it, the thing was kind of cutting in and out, so unfortunately that was camera issue and malfunction of the camera that I didn't seem to notice, so that's my fault. Sorry for that. As unfortunately, we only got up to here. Unfortunately, unfortunately there's a certain part right here that is gotten damaged. I probably didn't know that when I was trying to put that apart, or probably when I was doing something, I probably caused a little bit of a malfunction break. So unfortunately, see, if you don't do it right, you cause something like that to happen. But unfortunately this thing is pretty old, and unfortunately, let's see, yeah, it's pretty old. It has been used a lot. This is pretty much the original one for my old one, so that's probably done in. It would still probably function, but that aside. Fortunately, I did lose the excess spring, so that is going to be another issue. I do have replacements, so unfortunately, I will take it from either one of my other guns, or probably just grab another little bag of replacements. So this part is done in, and this part's done in. So unfortunately, those are both kaput. But unfortunately, okay, so you ask, is my pistol going to still function or eventually work as good as it could be? Well, that should be fine. I should be able to do it and replace most of those parts easy enough. Now the secondary part is I have to take this whole part off to get to this, which is going to be annoying. So I unfortunately always should, when you do that, turn it all the way down, find one of these little things that fit into this little sucker right there, which can, so then just kind of, you know, just get that little sucker out there. Unfortunately, it looks like, can't tell that's the right sizing. No, it's just an inch too short. Okay, that one's a little still too much. There we go. Perfect, there we go. Now we just kind of unfurl that sucker a decent amount, which now lets you take off this, which now potentially lets you push that up like so, and then kind of wiggle that little sucker out there like that. I'll show you how to put that part back together again. So now, unfortunately, there's a little pin in here that potentially will try to fire off. So what I do is I put my thing here, push it like so, keep going, and now that should let me potentially come up all the way. But unfortunately, now that's stuck like that. I use that to let myself know that, so that way I don't over bust something. It's just something that I do on purpose, that way it actually locks in place like that. Then I take that off because I don't want to damage any other parts. It's just how I go about it without causing any damage. Now, as you can see, this little part is that, which is that part right there, which actually will try to shoot off on you. And that should, you know, once I pull that out, that just came out. And fortunately, this part right here is pushing, which kind of, you know, helps you. This little part right here is what makes this thing swell. That part hooks onto these little bumps right here. Now on the inside, as you can see, like I said, well, yeah, the screws have come loose, so the idea is now to tighten those suckers back up. Fortunately, that's the best I can do with this current one, so unfortunately I'm going to have to go an excess size smaller, so I'll grab this and my other little tool piece, which is this, to really get those little suckers tightened. Fortunately, if you have one that actually has these screws, actually if you have like a screws for your back sight, now that's the one thing I will say, try to actually tighten it as tightly as you can, but still kind of keep that rule of essentially don't overdo it. But you still want that as decently as tight as you can get, but not over tightened, because unfortunately if you fire, it can kind of, you know, when it rattles, it does rattle this a little too much, and then unfortunately when it rattles too much, it actually causes more well, it kind of rattles it in a certain way that this eventually gets more stripped and so on. So you always kind of want to have it just a kind of almost a certain looseness, but at the same time it's really hard to say. It's just trial and error. It took me a lot of time to actually get the hang of that myself. Now that's nice and tight, so as you can see it doesn't wiggle around anymore. Now to put this sucker back in like so, like that. Now again with this, as you can see that little part fell out, but unfortunately that's probably easier for reasons. I will show you why. Now potentially hold it like that, hold your main finger like this, like that, put this one like so. It's always a little bit kind of hard because they're kind of always moving around kind of simultaneously. So after that, push this little sucker, make sure that the little thinner part is in there, goes like that. Now unfortunately what I'd say is now use one of these, a decently sized one, which I'll grab my other one, like one of those, a little bit bigger. Now put your finger always right there, so in case if it tries to fire off, kind of push in like so, and then kind of use your other finger to at the same time pushly, now it's in place, but unfortunately it will fire off. So, and if it gets out of control, it will fire off. So you kind of want to somehow get it like that, hold it in place with your other finger. Now put this little sucker in place, which is unfortunately right in there, like that, kind of fits in there. Then try to maneuver it to hook onto that. Now kind of, tilt it a little bit sideways, so that way kind of, the gravity itself kind of holds it in place. Now put this one, this piece again, back into where it should be, and which now holds that little silver part a little bit. Now the harder part would be now to get this little sucker, which you can now use, just put it like that, tilt it on its side, then try, because that's actually, most people try to go upwards, but I noticed that getting it into the tilting it sidewards usually makes it a little bit more easier to get on for your first time if you're ever doing this. That's just what I noticed for myself. It could be different for you. After all, everyone's different. You always want to, you don't want to potentially over tighten this, because it will cause the other under part right here to actually be pushed and snap. So you always have to be careful of that, not to overdo it, because if you do, it actually will ruin your safety. Now this would be this part. And then afterwards I'd put the other top part on, but unfortunately, as we already know, it broke. So now I'm going to grab my other one. Let's go find a replacement. Usually I do. Now since these parts are in place, you can now push that down like so without any discern. This is a different piece, can't remember which one, but it should potentially more or less fit all the same. It is always a little bit discernible to get in there, so it is a little bit more tricky to get in there. There we go. As you hear, it just clicked. That means since you made this nice and tight and nice and snug. Now I just take this little part. Unfortunately, you're asking why didn't I potentially add any grease? Well, I'll get to that in a minute. Or potentially silicone or whatever. I don't really like using silicone too much. I actually, well, I guess I do, but I just noticed like the ones that are actually provided by actual, like, the modding community of Nerf, like this, like Orange Works silicone grease from them. I like the. Yeah, I think it's. I'm not too sure if they do potentially airsoft. I'm not really sure. Somebody would have to look into that. But the craziness of it is the fact that I noticed the silicone grease that they use actually seems to be, works most. Actually, it's what I actually use for most all my airsofts. The Orange Works silicone grease. And as you can tell, my hands are a little bit greasy already, but now I just kind of apply it by finger. And then eventually onto here, and then kind of in there as well, like where the main headpiece is for the. And also I try to get some on the main O-ring and move it around with my finger like that, and then kind of. And also it's even sometimes good to even apply some to the main upper right here. As you can clearly see, there's a little bit. And yes, sometimes you even want to apply a little bit to the nozzle on the front part. If you're wondering, like just on the edging, because it sometimes helps it from when it gets stuck in there. This kind of helps it from doing that. So just kind of get on the little edges as best you can. Now it should be good to go. So now, unfortunately, before that, I need now to add in these. Fortunately, I got my other ones. So now. Usually push back down, and now let's see if I remember correctly, which one does it go? Does it go that one to that one? Actually, if I remember correctly, the little see, you'll notice that one side's just a little bit bigger than the other. You want the smaller one to the back end. And that's how it goes in at best. And now you have to do the other side as well. Unfortunately, it is a little hard, so sometimes people do use tools, but I actually use my fingers. As you can see, it got uncaught, so keep pushing until it gets like that. And then just make sure. Then proceed to. Unfortunately, I will tell you how to take apart the front of the front nozzle part later, which, if I'm lucky, I will do so. Now I just put that back into place like so, and then seems fine to me. And I guess I'll just add a little bit of silicone grease to the main upper frame just for my own aspects. Okay, get that nice in there. Just using the wiping of the excess off on potentially onto the main of right here just to make sure. There we go. Unfortunately, I got a little bit of grease on my gun, so unfortunately what I'll have to do is wipe that off later with probably a cloth. Unfortunately, I'd say in general, this is my old shirt, so it's pretty old, so I don't mind potentially ruining a shirt. After all, it's not something in general. A shirt's easily replaceable. So, therefore, if you feel like it, if you don't really care too much about your maybe your nice looking jacket or shirt, or if you're not wearing something that you consider too sacred in a sense, or something that eventually holds memories, then go ahead, use your shirt. Now, just put that sucker back on, tighten that sucker up, and I guess we'll give it a test run now finally. Which I guess we'll get to see my little pistol, and I'll use my chronograph that I have, which we'll do that in a few minutes. Okay, let's see. Okay, there we go. And there it is, my own customary Wesker's Samurai's Edge with Barry Burton mods. Well, Barry and Burton too. Well, I already explained it, so as you can see. Now, I guess it's time to go test it. Come on, I'll get the gas and the magazine. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Is it done? Okay. Oh, there we go. There we go. Now we got the gas magazine and this, so we'll just follow me and we'll go give it a test. Eye protection first. If I remember correctly, I'm using either 0.25 BBs, or just potentially the 20 grams or the 25 grams. I don't quite remember, so when it shows up on my chronograph, we'll just have to see. Alright, but first things first, let's close up the door. And, well, fortunately, it looks like my gas is running low. But unfortunately, 5 shots and it was really nice. Fortunately, it's really low at the moment because of the gas. So just wait right here. And well, unfortunately, that's just because the gas got low. Let's see. Well, unfortunately, it's kind of screen to screen. It's probably hard to see, but it is 169.5, which is pretty low, as obviously, but it's pretty low. But that aside, that's only because the gas was low. It did get 5 shots off. The joule rates is 0.27, but I'll gas it up with some more gas and we'll give it another shot. But unfortunately, that's another thing in general. When potentially calibrating all this stuff, it also goes for your magazine. So unfortunately, that also means, and let's just say if you use the magazine, it takes a while for the parts to want to start working again. So it will take a bit of gassing, gassing, and eventually to get this thing to want to work the way it used to. So he'll be right here, and I'll just be right back. Alright, gassed up 2 mags, including my better one. I'll take out the current few of the excess BBs from my magazine to put into the other one. It's 5. I'm going to try to split them up evenly. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 7, 8, And unfortunately, as you can tell, my cat just walked by. I don't know how she got in here, so I'll have to probably scoot her out. Oh, you crazy little cat. Come on now. You know I'm doing my fire testing. Here's my cat. Nice little fur ball. She always follows me around. And yes, my cat is a she. There you go. Let's see, the first shot, 297.6 joules, let's see if I remember correctly, is 0. Man, I can't remember numbers. 82. Second shot. Exactly the same. Only a slight increase, but that's because the parts are working in. Okay, decrease. Decrease because it probably is losing its gas. Unfortunately, now since it's empty, I'm going to cycle it just to make sure that it runs properly. Oh yeah, it's a little higher because this mag is a little bit better in better condition. So yeah, it's hand me the camera for a moment. Well, like I said, it's from that pistol which I just finished up. Looks like the battery's getting low, so I'll have to fix that. But as you can see, 300 and pretty much 207.6 with the joule rate. Unfortunately, you can't really see that probably on camera really well, but it is 0.88. Now time to just have fun with the last few. Oh, okay, that one was even a little higher, so that's probably because, like I said, the parts are working themselves in and the mag is a bit better condition, so it actually went up a bit, but it's still, it hasn't gone up, the joule limit hasn't gone up to which I consider 1 yet, so it's still fine. And as you can tell, clearly it sounds a little more stronger because of the, well, the magazine's a little bit built better, so I'm just going to have a little bit of fun with the last bits of air. And just to, get a better close-up of me and the gun, just, having a bit of fun, just going. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see, luckily we've got air conditioning, which pretty much airs it out down here. Let's see, and turn that off. And that's pretty much what I plan to do for the last few weeks. Unfortunately, I'm pretty sure the cameras are getting close to dead, so I'll have to recharge them. I'm hoping to upload these soon, so hope you enjoyed the video and have fun airsofting once this coronavirus blows over. Enjoy!